What's going on, you guys? It's Kimberly Flower. We're having some technical difficulties, but thanks so much for sticking around. We are super excited about today's episode. We've been talking about how to turn your broadcast from good to great. In the comment section, let me know you're still there. I really appreciate all of you standing by as we so basically my laptop power died, even though it's plugged in. So technology, right? Okay, so let's get back into it. We're talking about what does it actually take to turn your broadcast, your client's broadcast, from good to great. So I'm giving you guys strategies for how to take a broadcast that looks, kind of basic into something that is really high level, really professional, and really eye-catching for your clients. Now, what does it actually take for you to create something like that for them? So far we talked about doing just some of the minor things, meaning using an upgraded camera. So instead of using a regular webcam, one of the things that you can do to just quickly up-level the quality of the broadcast is by using a mirrorless or DSLR camera, okay? Now, I want to make sure that I welcome you guys back. Scott, thank you. Jason, Mr. Tech, awesome. I'm super glad you guys are back on the broadcast, and make sure that you guys can all see me and hear me as we go through this process, okay? All right, so we talked about making sure that the camera that you choose is properly framed, meaning that you want to make sure that the camera is horizontal viewing instead of where it's going to be on the laptop, so where you're looking down at the camera. The audience doesn't want to see your cheeks and up your nose. You need to make sure that your clients are elevating whatever device that they're using, whether that be their laptop or some other device, to where they are able to look horizontally at the camera. And that will give you a little more flexibility as well when it comes to how you are positioning graphics and making sure that there's enough headroom from the top of their head to the bottom of their waist area is the proper framing for or remote producing your client, right? Because you're going to have graphics, you're going to have overlays, you're going to have lower thirds, you're going to have a bunch of different things that maybe go over the top of your client. So if they only show you this much of themselves, then what's going to happen is that their lower third is going to be like covering their chin. So you don't want that to happen. So just make sure that you encourage proper framing, and proper framing is going to be somewhere at least for broadcast purposes, a medium shot, considered a medium shot, okay? So I want to go through some other things that I want you guys to be thinking about. Hang on one second. What's going to happen is that their lower third is going to be like covering their chin. So and let's take a look at what some of those things are. I'm actually on the laptop, guys, and I'm monitoring. Oh, am I echoing? Oh, I think it's because I have the Facebook app open. Are you guys still hearing an echo? Jason, tell me if you're still hearing an echo, okay? You shouldn't be hearing an echo, but it may have been coming out of, because I had one of the other things open while I was trying to do this, okay? All right, you guys. So one other thing that I want you guys to take a look at is to make sure that, replying to Jason, you can hear it too. Is it still echoing, you guys? If it's still echoing, just let me know. Gone now. Okay, so that was probably, I had another window open, and that's probably why it was echoing. But it looks like we're all good now. And I'm going to go over back to where we were. I had all of these different things that I wanted to show you in the way of demonstration, but that actually leads me to one of my other points, guys. Video is best used for demonstration purposes. So one of the things that you can do to help elevate your broadcast from good to great is using rotating images and video B-roll during your broadcast to provide visual aid. And this is going to really help your clients stay engaged with what's going on. So they get to see more than just your pretty face, right? They get to see more than just your handsome face with the client. They're able to see things that are actually happening as you're talking. So I had some demonstrations that I wanted to pull for you guys as we look at this. And so I'm trying to see if I can get back to that folder now. But I want you guys to think of CNN or any other kind of broadcast show that you watch. A lot of times while a conversation is happening between the host and the guest of the show, there's also like B-roll footage. We call it B-roll footage because it's silent video footage or silent images that are showing up as a visual aid while the broadcast is going on that are relevant to whatever the topic is at hand. So if we're talking politics, then you'll see pictures of politicians or, maybe a rally or something like that, whatever is relevant to that topic at hand. So if you're talking technology, maybe you're cutting back and forth to pictures of the different type of technology that you're using. Like these are some things that are really going to help you enhance the broadcast even more. Okay. So, one of the other things that she said she actually learned this in journalism class. Yeah, like there's a bunch of different things that these are just small little things. And again, guys, remember that the goal for the broadcast when it comes to your clients is evoking a level of curiosity that gets them excited enough to press that link and to join that broadcast. Okay. So you want to make sure that you evoke curiosity. Evoke curiosity. That's your number one goal. And these tips and strategies are going to help you do that. So you want to make sure that you use color. Encourage your audience, your client to use pops of color. It doesn't mean that the whole thing has to be purple and blue or whatever, but it does mean that you want to make sure that you are intentional about the use of color in your broadcast. So this is the wrong background. We usually have the background of our remote producer live here. But as you can see, just even this, guys, you see different colors and things happening in the background, and it just gives a sense of visual stimulation. Color breeds visual stimulation. It makes people curious. It makes them want to know more. Encourage your client to not only use it for the background, but also to wear colorful things. Like that's going to help draw the attention of somebody who's maybe just scrolling on their timeline, looking for something interesting to kind of stop. Oh, and see, this looks kind of cool. What is this, right? So that is another thing, guys. Use saturated colors. And as a remote producer, another ninja tip here is that you can actually do color grading on the broadcast for your client, right? So would it be better for dark or bright colors? Yeah, definitely bright colors. And I say saturated colors. Like sometimes one of the little tips that we actually use on our clients' broadcast is that we will saturate the color just a tiny bit more than you would see like on our average broadcast or whatever, and it just makes it stand out just a little bit more. So now their skin's just a little more glowy, the contrast is a little more sharp. That imagery makes it stand out. It's like, ooh, what is that, right? So this is some of the things that you could do. So you want to make sure that this is the title that's showing. Party platforms in the breach you never knew existed. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, guys, like we had to restart the broadcast. So we are talking about how to turn your broadcast from good to great. And we will, kind of fix some of these things. This is what happens when it's live. Like when things are live, this is you guys have a transparent view of what's actually going on. So our original event looks like it deleted and now it's just kind of defaulted. So guys, thank you for that. And we will go ahead and fix that. All right. So what are some other things that you can do to turn your client's broadcast from good to great? One of the other things that I want to encourage you guys to use is use closed captioning. Use closed captioning. And the reason why you want to use, and the cool thing about Restream Studio is that it does this live so that you're able to be live and so that people can see the closed caption option and they're reading what you're saying as the audio is happening. So that is going to evoke emotion. I mean, that's going to evoke curiosity if the topic of what you're talking about is something that they want to hear. So first of all, the way that they decide whether or not they're going to click is they're going to look and see, does this look interesting? Are there images and B-roll or graphics, that are evoking a level of curiosity in them to press, the button or to watch more. And then they're going to look at the closed caption. 80% of videos right now are being watched on silent. 80% start off watched on silent, and then they make the decision from that point whether or not they actually want to watch the video. So it's important that you include closed captioning in your videos for this purpose, because it will help evoke the level of curiosity for the broadcast. Okay, guys, are you experiencing some, let's see, the audio is distinct. Are you guys experiencing that too? Audio is fine on my end. Okay, interesting. We did have to jump back on the broadcast, guys, so I thank you for bearing with me as we kind of go through this, okay? So you want to make sure that you use closed captions to evoke a level of curiosity. The other thing that I want to do is to encourage you guys to use motion. What do you mean by that, Kimberly? Use motion graphics, motion even in the text of your words and things like that, like the titles. If you can have scrolling text, things like that, like capture and hold the attention of people. Like your titles are going to be a huge attention grabber. And if those titles can be on the screen, that is going to just, really create a level of, evoking that curiosity and making people want to know more, because by, just the title that's on the screen, they're able to know, is this something that is interesting to me? Is this something that is relevant to me? What are they talking about? Again, the goal always being to evoke curiosity. That's just like advertising or anything else. Like your number one goal for your advertising, is to evoke enough curiosity for them to go deeper into your sales funnel, right? And so this is kind of like, from a business standpoint, this is the strategy that we use to help people move through your customer sequence, okay? So it's not, again, this is not just about understanding technology. It's really about understanding strategy for getting you where you want to be, okay? So it's super important that you kind of use some of these techniques, and I hope that you find them helpful. But use motion as a means to capture attention, because things that are moving just naturally capture people's attention. So if you have scrolling text, or your graphics on the broadcast have motion graphics and things that are just ever so slightly moving, like think about how you're watching CNN or any other type of like really high level broadcast show. There's constant little subtle movements, and those things are used to subtly capture your attention to maybe a call to action graphic or something that's popping up, or to just kind of give you enough visual stimulation to keep you plugged in and keep you engaged in the broadcast while it's happening, right? So one of the ways to do that is to provide, additional visual stimulation. So they're not just looking at you, they're able to see other graphics. They're able to see the audience cutting back and forth between the shots. This is my next tip. Make sure that you cut back and forth between shots. So don't just stay on one perspective very long, right? So like while this kind of a show is a little bit different, because this is more of a teaching platform where I am talking to you guys, engaging with you guys, and you're able to see me and talk to me. But typically, like if this was a show for a client and the client maybe had a guest on the broadcast, we would be cutting from shots to me to shot to the broadcaster to the guest, to the broadcaster and the guest, or the broadcaster and the guest and the B-roll all in one shot, right? And so that kind of keeps people's eyes bouncing throughout the broadcast so that they can stay engaged. The attention span of your viewers is not going to be like super elongated. So you want to make sure that you use what you have, the time span that you have, to make sure that they are fully focused, fully engaged, and constantly like entertained and educated. That whole edutainment thing is a real thing when it comes to broadcasting, capturing and holding the attention of your audience. Okay. So guys, in the comment section really quickly, I want to know, what are some things that you do to help evoke curiosity from the viewer, right? So we talked about so far using a bright, colorful backgrounds, even just like your outfits and things like that. You can use color to attract attention. You can use color in the motion graphics. The other thing that we said is to use motion, whether it's text or through your motion graphics and things like that. Those little small movement will help to attract the attention of the kind of person that you really want to get their attention, right? All right, you guys. So Pearl, Nico, how do I say that? Nico Pila, Raymond, thank you guys so much more. Yeah, my energy and my voice. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because that is the other thing. Now, it doesn't matter how awesome your video looks. Like, if the energy of the client is not something that makes a person want to continue watching this broadcast, then a lot of what you're doing, like, you may capture their attention up to a point, but your client actually has a process to play. They have a part to play in this process of evoking curiosity and helping to keep the audience engaged, right? So one of the things that we do is that we tell our clients during a broadcast strategy session, this is one of the first things that we actually do with them, is to create what's called a broadcast strategy session. And we kind of give them a little bit of coaching as it pertains to video presentation skills, right? Like, what does it actually take to keep people's attention during a broadcast like this? And so one of the ways that you can do that is to just make sure that you're excited about whatever you're talking about. People can tell if you're excited about the content that you're creating, or if it's just something that, like, you're just doing to kind of fill the time or fill the space, right? And so a lot of times, if you have like a monotone kind of voice and you're just talking like this, and you lose people. So inflection and energy, the energy that you put into a broadcast is what you're going to receive from the client. I mean, from the audience, right? And so it's your job to get your client excited. Before the broadcast even starts, we're telling them, all right, guys, give me some energy, give me some smiles. We're getting ready to go live here in about 3, 2, right? And they're ready. They're pumped up because we have made sure that they don't show up on their own broadcast bored, right? Because, I mean, if you're bored and you sound bored, then of course your audience is going to be bored and they're going to continue on to the next thing. So that is a super important element to make sure that your audience is, engaging with their viewers, you know what I mean? And making sure that their energy is up. The other thing that you can do to turn your good broadcast into a great broadcast is to show the comments, right, of your audience on the screen where possible. People love to be able to see their comments. Like, look, this is true. I remember making a video with captions on a regular video, and wow, that video performed way better. Yeah, absolutely. Like, showing people's comments on the screen, people love to see their own comments because it helps them to feel like this is a two-way conversation, right? And that's what they want. They're trying to talk to you. This is why live is so popular in the first place, right, Raymond? Yes, he says, right. Well, right on. This is why it's so impressive in the first place, is because it gives them an opportunity to experience you real time. There's something about live video that a person cannot experience otherwise. Like, even on a pre-recorded video, you're trying to get everything perfect, and you're cutting out all of the ums and the ahs and the things that maybe sound like imperfection, right? You're able to edit out all the imperfections. But live, you don't have that option. People are seeing you, and they're seeing what's going on live in real time, okay? So that you guys, like, for instance, are seeing this. So just making sure that you add comments to the broadcast, add motion to the broadcast, add color to the broadcast. Think about using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera instead of, a regular webcam. But I do want to stress this, okay? Because we actually encourage our audience to, like, start where they are. So, like, if they're not at DSLR or mirrorless camera ready, to kind of make that investment or whatever, we start out with the Logitech 920, and I have a secret for you guys that I want to share with you that will help you turn their Logic, 920 or 930 or whatever into something that looks like a DSLR camera. Now, I'm actually trying to find, like, all of my files here kind of got a little bit, let me see if I can find this though. Hold on one second, okay? I want to show you guys some visual images of like some stuff. Let me just see if I can. I'm winging it at this point, okay? So it's important for you to know that ahead of time. Let's see. I'm looking for something I might have on my drive. Hang on. See if I can pull this up. Okay. Now, I want you guys to just kind of take a look at this right here. This is just a off the fly kind of thing, and I'm going to mute it so that you can kind of see. But okay, so this here is just an example broadcast that you can see. Like now, it looks like the background is blurred here, and she's talking to another guy who has the background blurred. It looks like a really high level type of camera, but guys, that camera is really just a 920. Now, how do we make the background blurry using a 920 webcam that they put on top of their laptop? Here's how we do that. One really quick ninja, and all of you that are still here are going to be super glad that you stayed for this moment, right? One of the cool tricks that you can use to turn a regular low budget webcam into a DSLR looking webcam is to use green screen and then blur out the picture behind them, right? So that kind of gives it that bokeh effect. That makes it feel like they're using a higher level camera when really they're just in front of a green screen. And the image that you chose for the background, in Photoshop, we actually just blur that out just like by a few percentages to kind of give it that depth of field look that you would get with a DSLR camera. So like right now you're watching this and this is on a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. This is a DSLR camera, but you can see that's a little bit blurred out in the background. Now that's actually just the lens itself, but you can create a faux version of that using a really low budget camera. In fact, most of the clients that we have that are just starting out are using a $50 camera that we suggest for you guys. And it's one of them is the Logitech 920, and then the other one, I forget the name of the brand, but if you guys want to know the name of the brand, put it in the comment section and I will make sure that I drop that in there. But it's a $50 camera, you guys, and we make it look like a $300 broadcast because they're, showing up in a live stream looking, like this. And again, guys, think about this. You have color here. You have all kinds of different things. And so she's talking and he's talking and your guests are there. And there's lots of, things that are evoking that level of curiosity. Again, that's just kind of a demo that I was able to pull up off my laptop. I had some really cool things, and we're going to have to try to do this again because I want to show demonstration of some of the really cool things that you can do with live stream, and transforming your client's broadcast from good to great. So that's really all I have. Okay, Raymond says he wants the names of the camera. Yeah, it's a $50 camera, and one of them is a 920, Logitech 920. That was what we were using before the pandemic. And I say that because like during the pandemic, all of those cameras were really like hard to get. And so like we were actually going through a surge of clientele, but the cameras and things that we were recommending to the client were not able to be found. So we had to find a different outlet. And so we found this really cool camera that worked really well for them. And we were able to just use it, green screen it, and that's just like a little trick. And when we start talking about encoders, using encoders with Restream Studio, with Restream Studio, then we will talk about how to get that done. Okay. So all an encoder is something that kind of helps you to get the transfer the broadcast onto different devices from, one place into, the lives of different people's cell phones, iPads, But within a lot of encoders have included with them some additional features that will help you on some of this movie magic type stuff, right? So guys, I hope that you have found today's episode helpful. I hope that you have learned something from today's episode. And as we go deeper into these how-to kind of tutorials and things like that, I hope that you will share this broadcast with a friend, share it with somebody that you know could use it. If you are somebody right now that you are a remote producer and you're producing for clients right now, I want you to share with us like your number one tip for turning a broadcast from good to great. And I want you to share that in the comment section right now. As always, guys, we're at the end of the broadcast, so that means it's Q&A time. And so I want to open the floor for you guys to ask me any questions that you have about producing a live stream for clients. You got about 3 minutes. So I'm going to be looking for your comments really quickly. Will this be on a replay? Yes, Raymond, this will be on a replay. Again, guys, wherever you're watching us from, you can be watching us from the Kimberly Flowers Plays, the Breech Stream platform, wherever it is that you're watching us from. Make sure that you plug in and hit the notifications button so that you never miss another episode of Remote Producer Live. I don't see any questions. For you, your tip, Raymond says his tip is confidence for a presentation. Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that because a lot of people will come to you with a really cool idea and they're like, I really want to do this. And then they jump on the broadcast and they're super shy. Like, how does a remote producer deal with a shy host? I think we're going to turn that into a whole little episode because it's important for you guys to know how to coach your clients. Here's the thing, guys. You have to understand that people pay you more for leadership than they do for help. They pay you more for leadership than they do for help. So a lot of your clients think they need your help, but most of them really need you to lead the process and show them step by step, not only how to jump on a broadcast and create something that looks high level, but they're looking for you to kind of guide them as their producer. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for step-by-step processes. They're looking for cool tips and tricks, for you to know what they don't know, right? That's one of the reasons why they hire you. Like, how can I get my business objectives really met from this process? And it's your job to help them do that. And so it's my job to train you how to do this, how to lead your clients and how to give direction to your clients so that they are happy with their outcomes and happy with their business objectives being met because you showed them, a process that maybe they had no idea about how to do, right? Can you recommend an entry-level mirrorless or DSLR camera? Yes. My entry-level DSLR camera would probably be the Canon T7i. That's like the cheaper camera, but it also allows you to kind of create something really cool like this one. Actually, this is an older version of that. We're using the T6i camera for this broadcast right now. And this is just direct. This is not, any color correction or anything like that. It's just 100% T6i to an HDMI using a little capture card, right? And so the other mirrorless camera that, option that I would suggest is the Sony AR series, right? So they have like a whole bunch of different ones. So the A6400, that's a really great camera, entry-level camera that will like produce some really high grade clarity on the side of the client. And, if this is for you and your own broadcast too, I definitely recommend that you take a look at those cameras. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, make sure that you hit the notifications button here on this platform, wherever it is that you're watching us from, because you don't want to miss another episode of Remote Producer Live. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. We will see you on the other side. Bye.